Hello. Ooh, that's rough.
You can start anytime you want.
We project on the wall, so I have to get out of the way. All right. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening. Is it on? Hello. Hello. Is it me you're looking?
Hello, hello. Nope, mine's not working.
Hello? I don't. Oh, mine's not on either.
Testing.
Yeah, they're not working.
Hello. Nope. It's all since you joined the CDAC. You know, I used to be 160 pounds, and I joined this damn thing, and actually, when I joined this most recent time, I think I had just lost 140 pounds. I've gained all that back. That was COVID. Oh. That's all right. We'll start with attendance and everything. Okay? Yes? No? All right, it is 6:50. It's time to call the CDAC meeting for this Wednesday, April 15th to order. I'm your chair, Justin McGregor. Let's start things off first with our call of order and attendance, and we'll start with Michelle.
Michelle O'Loughlin, Council at Large.
Marilyn Austin, 6th District.
Jordan Trice, 5th District.
Chisula Saintis, 4th District.
Up to Deborah.
Deborah Hogan, Merrill appointee.
John Brunza, mayoral appointee.
Asia Ambler, District 1.
Marianne Callahan, mayoral appointee.
And I represent the 7th District. Again, I'm Justin McGregor. And we have some new members. I want to make sure I remember both names. And of course, my phone. Hold on. All right. So we have Lindsay Sullivan and Maggie Gregory joining our ranks. And I'll let you do your attendance.
Maggie Gregory, District 2.
Thank you very much, Maggie. Thank you. I almost... no, Lindsay wasn't going to make this one. She will be here for the next meeting. By the way, the next meeting will start out with our regular call to order, and then we'll go to a public session for our hear what all the stakeholders, friends, and supporters want to hear. Hopefully, we get everything finished tonight. We do a one-up vote on the stuff either by section or total. And then once we're done with the public session on the following meeting, we'll vote one more time to reaffirm what we did. I just feel like having the official vote before the public session is not a good look. All right? Okay. So, the lighting just changed and I could no longer read the piece of paper, so I had to put my glasses on. The minutes. Everyone got the email of the minutes from our April 1st April Fool's meeting. Did anyone have any amendments or any corrections they wanted to make to said meeting? If not, do we have a motion to accept? And I hate having my back to you, Deborah, because I can't see you. All right. Okay. Motion, were you a second? Okay. Deborah's a second on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any nays? You'll abstain? All right. It's carried unanimously with an abstention. I guess it's not unanimous then, if it's got an abstention. What's the rule on that? Nobody voted against it anyway. All right. So we have our, oh, no, I'm back on April 1st minutes, sorry. Our funding and budget discuss, oh, here's Shannon, perfect timing. So the reason we are behind schedule this morning, or this evening, is the fact that this morning I think it was planning committee, it went to the clerk's office downstairs and asked for availability of the room. They had to cancel their meeting yesterday, and they told them it was available this evening. Although we do have, and if everyone has their schedule, we did schedule through the rest of the year our dates. So I reaffirmed those dates. I sent them to Sarah, the city clerk, to ensure that we're on the calendar for the rest of the year. I said, but we submitted all those dates. All right. So, Shannon, is it logging you in? Do we got those screens?
It is logging me in, but I do want to let you guys know that, sorry, I'm out of breath. I was trying to make it fast. If you can push through budgets tonight, that would be great. I cannot make the meeting at the end of this month. Something came up. I have to attend a funeral. But if you guys are able to finish the budget tonight, they can have a staff member here just to observe the public meeting and all that. And even if you guys have to vote or whatever, they can observe the vote. I don't have to be here for that. But if you do not finish it tonight, we may have to do a special meeting because you will not be able to do any of the budget stuff the next meeting because I am the only one that has it. So, and nobody else will have any idea what you guys are talking about or
Our
doing,
goal
so.
is to finish the segments tonight and vote on each section of it, then have that public meeting and then do a reaffirm vote on the next meeting, just so that the official final vote is after we heard from the public. Okay. Shannon?
So I have a,
Okay. I said our goal is to finish tonight and vote on each section individually to finalize them, but to vote for the whole overall thing in one final vote after the public session, just so that we don't have a final vote before we heard from the public.
You are correct.
All right, very good.
But again, if you guys cannot complete it all tonight, we just may have to have a special meeting.
Ugh.
Just so you know.
We did last year. We added another one. We don't want to do that again. Yeah.
okay, can I
Okay.
make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I know it started late, so if you can't, I understand.
I suggest we do the easiest things first. And that would be
ESG.
ESG.
Oh,
You guys have a copy of what you discussed the last meeting. Those are the tentative numbers filled in. And then we didn't get to anything else, but you do have the budget amounts in front of you, along with requested amounts and everything else.
also on the record, I wanted to thank John for sending that out. That was awesome to be able to go through that and look at the breakdown and actually be able to see it on my own computer and not distorted on the wall. It was fantastic. Thank you very much. All right.
Don't expect another one tonight. I didn't do it for.
Okay, so,
Do we want to start with ESG?
sure. Oh, what was the final number that was up 4,000? Is that what you said in the email?
Actually, it was a little bit more. It
Oh.
is now. Hang on. We are now at 274, 280 instead of 268, 324. So there's an increase of $5,955.60. Can you all see that right there?
Excuse me, Shannon, can you please speak up, or the speaker?
Sorry. So originally you were at 268, 324.50. Our allocated amounts came in from HUD, and we are at 274, 280.10, which now gives you an additional $5,955.60 right here that you guys can work with.
Did you hear that? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to pull up ESG.
If we're starting with ESG, I personally am inclined to go with the COC recommendation.
Me too.
Maybe we could start there.
Speak up.
I'm inclined to go with the COC recommendation. Maybe we can start there to see if anyone disagrees with that.
Can everybody see this okay? It doesn't seem as bright as last time. I don't know if there's more lights on, but can everybody see it okay? I can probably move it over.
No, wait. Sorry. What the?
Can everybody see that okay? Deb, can you see it?
Did somebody take
It's a
my
bit
pen
blurrier
to
this time than
sign
it
the
was
sheet or
last. I'm
something?
not sure why, but I have the paper in front of me.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it.
Deborah, can you see that? Because I know I can't.
I have the paper in front of me, so
Oh,
I'll work with that.
okay.
Justin, just a suggestion, if you were to set maybe next to John, or, oh, you can't see them. Sorry.
Say that again?
Oh, if I moved over to John's spot? I can do that. Do you want me to do that? So that I'm facing you? Or facing everybody?
If you do that, it's hard for me to hear John even. So I think we have an acoustical triangle here that's really hard to, unless we're
Right, but then
really right in front of the microphone.
I'm constantly turning to see her.
No,
That's
I
all.
know, but what I'm saying is acoustically, I can't hear Shannon or John. So if you move over here, we have to really almost shout into the microphones because I didn't get half of what she said over there.
Marianne, if you'll flag Justin for me, we're good to go.
What, I'm sorry?
If you flag Justin for me, because you can see me,
Okay.
then
that's
we'll
a-
be good.
That's a
Yep.
deal. That's a good deal.
I need a mirror right
he can
here.
move. No, he can move, but I think we just have to almost shout into this thing because it's
I
horrible.
could always put my camera on my phone facing you.
And we need to enunciate.
Enunciate.
Yes.
Okay. So we're in the ESG. We have a recommendation, or I guess it's a recommendation proposal, a motion to go with the recommendations. And I don't know if anybody heard, but I agreed with John's recommendation to go with the recommendations. Do we have any about other? Ooh. Mood lighting. I can see it now without my glasses.
Again, this is COC's recommendation. I forgot to print this page, but this was their recommendation for this year.
You printed
Does anybody need me to read it?
Go for it.
So, the paper in front of us, they have the Outreach Ministries of Southern Tier, the Showers of Hope, here in a paper, but it's not listed up there. COC had recommended 25,000. They just wanted salaries only.
Wait.
Here it is on our
Okay, there it is.
recommendations, but they didn't recommend them. Because they said they could access additional funding under the FY25 NOFO, whatever that is.
That's street outreach. That's something else, isn't it?
Showers of Hope is the top line, 25,000.
Showers of Hope, right
It's
here.
there.
Oh, that's salary only.
Are you saying it wasn't on the other slide?
Yeah, the one you just showed wasn't on there.
I don't know.
What's what?
NOFO. Anybody know what that stands for?
Fiscal year, that should be 50. Funding under the,
Is that notice of funding opportunity?
whoa.
Much better, thank you.
Notice of funding opportunity. Yeah.
No other funding opportunities?
Yeah, now that the noise is gone, it's much better.
But why is it fiscal year, oh wait, is this the one where it's a typo? Is it supposed to be 25 or 52?
I don't know. Maybe whatever this NOFO is, maybe it's their fiscal year 25. I don't know.
Another? Notice.
Okay. So maybe they're on
That's
fiscal
new to
year
me.
25,
Nope.
or it's a typo, I don't know.
All right. So that is street outreach. I love the work they do. Mm.
Michelle, I don't know why it's not on here, I just noticed that. I don't know.
So are we going with can we fill in their recommendations if that's what we wanted to start with and see where we're at? Yeah.
She's calculating.
This is going to fill in and do it for us.
Yeah, she needs a mic.
Total comes to 182,216. And if I'm reading this correctly, we have 150. So we need to shave $32,000 approximately from their recommendation.
Correct.
Wait, their recommendation didn't come in under the budget?
Their recommendation came in, I don't know. I have 157,216.
The 61,000 bottom for Family Enrichment Network?
Because their recommendation is right here. This is what was requested. So that might total the 180 something.
That one is missing the 25,000.
That's what she
Outreach
said.
Ministries, that's what you noticed. They recommended $25,000 to Outreach Ministries of the Southern Tier Showers of Hope. So that's the additional $25,000 difference.
And they're choosing to give 0 to Salvation Army and ACBC. And the YWCA Street Outreach.
Yeah, the parking lot, it's a capital improvement issue, John, the capital improvement. Parking lot, I agree with that. They should access the funds with, that we're saying no to that, correct? No to a parking lot?
No. I agree. I'll go ring a bell at Christmas time to get them extra money or something.
Wait, are you serious?
I would.
I know Captain Joe, we're on a few committees
Okay.
together. He will hold you to that.
I-
I
that-
said that in passing, 'cause he sure enough.
That's fine. I'm not gonna raise them that much money, but I'll do my best.
Really? Oh, I loved it. I'm like Captain Joe now.
Go for it. I want a bell at the arena ahead of a hockey game, and I'll just stand there and let them fill the bucket.
Actually, that would probably make some money, not gonna lie.
I don't even see them on this.
No, it's
I
not
know.
on the list.
The
I know, that's why I
parking
said I
lot.
would do that.
'Cause I think that's supposed to.
I'll move here. Oh, okay. That's fine. Then here.
I think that I'm seeing an issue with the application here. Or something's different, because yes, on the first page, it identifies their program or project title as Salvation Army Parking Lot. But if you look beyond any of that, this is actually the same proposal for their hygiene closet. This is not a parking lot project.
Didn't we have this discussion 2 meetings ago? I feel like,
Yeah, because we were unsure of where this would fall.
right.
But I think that we can agree that this is not a parking lot project or capital improvement.
Plus, I just noticed that, sorry, Marilyn. I just noticed that this is a capital improvement, and I transferred over exactly what COC sent, so I don't even know why that's included here. So that would be 0 anyway, because it's not ESG.
I suspect that they didn't look beyond the program title where it says parking lot, which I think is an error, because if you go through the application, it's clearly for the hygiene pantry.
I think there's supposed to be 2, a capital and a,
But these are the numbers. This is what they had last year. This is COC's recommendation. This was their request. So I believe it is all here, except for, oh, that it is here. Michelle.
And
Outreach
that one, yes,
Ministries,
but
Showers of
when you
Hope.
go to the other COC
Oh, it's not on
panel,
there, yeah.
It's not there. So click on that and you'll see.
Yeah, it's
See,
not
it's
on
not
here,
there.
so.
Shannon, can you clarify for me? Is it the YWCA or ACBC that has the syringe exchange program?
It is ACBC.
Okay.
It's the UP Comfort Center.
So with that violation, are we allowed to consider funding? And would that help create or bridge the gap that we are facing?
Good question. If it violates HUD, which I did not look further into, I actually was going to and completely forgot till you brought it up. But if it does violate the HUD requirements, I don't think they can get funding.
May I make a suggestion for next year that we have somebody from COC come in and talk to us like they used to? This would make a big difference right now, because we're trying to figure something out. And I'm working on the sheet that was over there. Is that where we're all working from?
Yes.
Okay.
That is the same sheet that's
Yeah.
right here.
We
yeah.
really need to have somebody from the COC tell us why they recommended such a thing.
And I was going to say, I don't know if that's even true. ACBC did already get funding for their UP Comfort Center, so they got it in 51.
Were we aware of that at that time?
I don't know. I didn't do 51s.
Because I don't remember this coming up or being notated before, because I'm usually eagle-eyed on something because I would have an issue with that.
If I remember correctly, too, we didn't have COC come in last year, did we? Or if we did, we didn't have the kind of presentation that we are used to.
They didn't come in. This will be the 3rd fiscal year they haven't been here.
I think with them, it's a personnel issue.
Yeah.
It was a personnel issue.
We kind of got Rebecca the one time kind of walking us through some of their stuff, but we have not had an official representative come in and discuss their recommendations directly.
We did have 1 year after Rebecca left, but it wasn't the kind of detailed presentation we were used to. And that's something, if they're going to make these recommendations and we're going to listen to them, we need to understand what they're doing.
I agree with Marianne on that. It was very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And this question could be answered.
Even when we were remote, didn't we have them on then? Didn't they discuss when we were Zooming?
Yes, when we Zoomed, he definitely, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but he came on and talked to us.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, and then nothing.
It is now noted.
It is what?
It is now noted to ask them to start coming in to present their reasoning on their recommendations.
They can just help us. I mean, we had to Google what NOFO was.
But because they did not authorize any funding, isn't this kind of a moot point? I mean, other than it brought up the
But
fact that we
I
need to
think
have them come in next year.
The question is, we've given them money in the past, and now they're saying that now. Did we not know that last year when we gave them money? And
That's
was
why
that,
we need to have them come in, yeah.
Was that money, were
that
they
if
eligible?
A point of
But
clarification.
maybe they weren't doing that program in the past, the needle exchange program. Maybe they weren't doing it before.
This is why having the COC here
Yes.
would be,
Right.
like, when did they start that? And do we know if they spent their funds?
Yes, they did.
They did, okay. Well, there's no calling that back, at least from us. The federal government can always claw stuff back.
I thought I had COC's recommendation from last year as well, but maybe it's in a different document.
I do. I just saw it. Hold on.
And here I thought this was going to be the easy part.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Michelle.
Well, if you guys wanted to follow what they recommended 0 anyway, so.
Yeah, I think we should fill in their recommendations and then look at it and then decide. Because I know, oh, there's my roll of stamps. Sorry, it's like squirrel. When I was looking for my pen, I found last year's recommendations. And I'm just trying to find them again.
While Justin is looking for that, I would like to point out that Maggie's right about the math.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? COC recommendations ain't what they were used to be cracked up to be.
Yeah. They forgot showers of hope, right? Isn't that what they forgot? They forgot showers of hope. They don't make a recommendation on it. Oh.
If you add up their FY52 recommendations, it comes to 182 2 something.
And we're only at 150 this year? Is that number correct? Because if our money went up, how come that went down?
Say that again.
If our overall money went up $5,000 and it breaks down different ways, percentage-wise, how is...
Justin, can you please speak up? I'm so sorry.
How are we $32,000 off fiscal year 51's recommendation numbers if our funding went up?
The funding actually went down for ESG. It only went up for CDBG.
Okay, that's okay. That's why. So they based their recommendations on fiscal year 51. So that's why we're short. So we must cut funding from that recommendation. I mean, we could do the same percentages and just drop it by the difference.
And I think last year the total was 150 as well.
So what's the difference? 32,000?
So if we were to drop that by a percentage across the board, then I believe, Justin, we've done that before.
Yes.
And John, you remember that. That might be of assistance in this particular case.
It would also keep us close enough to the COC's recommendations, too.
Anyone else get 21%?
Actually, there's a $100 difference in ESG from last year to this year. And Steve had it at 150 with 7,000. The allocation was 157. And he had 7,000 put aside for, I don't remember what. So I just went based on those numbers from last year because it only differed by $100. So I just used the same 150 that he used last year.
So
I think 7,000 put aside for emergencies or if something came up would be my guess.
right, but if we reduce all of them by 17.5%, what do we get the right number?
So that's a big jump in the emergency housing program from last year to what COC is recommending this year. Do we want to keep it at that? Or would it help us if we reduce that slightly?
Request. Final budget.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to weigh in on this because I work for the YWCA. Do I need to abstain?
Yes.
Never mind then.
Shannon, can I see the A column? Are you able to scroll over just? Okay,
Oh,
that's all I need.
so if we
So on line 6 of the YWCA emergency housing, so that's a difference from the last year, the final budget to the COC recommendation. That's an increase of 38,000. $38,611. So it's a big jump up. I mean, I'm not saying they, you know, I'm just pointing out if we need to change some numbers.
Well, 20,000.
This is what they requested last year.
That was a roof. So we're, okay. We didn't give them any of that last year.
I think we can fairly assume that the COC was making recommendations based on ESG funding solely. But the thing that really, if we were to do this right, we would try to get somebody, some outreach to COC and ask them these specific questions before we decide on this budget. Why was the WISE budget increased almost 50%? Having that knowledge would help us a lot. And I know it's more time consuming, unfortunately, but it is the right way to go about this. We need COC's input on this. Why did they make the recommendations that they did?
I agree. I retract my previous support for following them. I have questions too.
Yeah.
Particularly
have
about street
changed.
outreach. I mean, I've got my notes from street outreach in big letters that say fund this. That really resonated with me when they presented.
Because I work for them, can I add any insight, or that is what makes it biased?
I don't think you can vote.
Okay.
Well, I know you can't vote.
Yes.
As far as providing any insight, I don't
Yes.
see why it would do any harm.
All right, here we go. Obviously, I've only been there a little over a month, but the person that does the street outreach is on the same team as I am. And I wonder if the emergency housing program, because they have Southside Manor, where they have the housing for the women right there, and that's seeing a lot of people. I wonder if the COC is seeing that they're getting more people just going directly there with DSS, as opposed to when they were getting most of their people directly from street outreach. I don't know if that makes sense, but I know that Southside Manor, it's a facility that's now well known, and I know that Ephraim, who came and did the presentation for street outreach, he does still go out and do all of his street outreach stuff, but their emergency housing on Southside Manor, they just opened up Hooper Road with 100 and something units, and they're seeing more turnover where they're getting it from the shelter that's going directly into the YWCA housing that is existing. So I wonder if they need more staff for the actual shelter that's being run, as opposed to what their street outreach is doing. I don't know this for a fact. This is just me kind of speculating on why those numbers may look that way and why the COC may have made that recommendation. If it has to do with their numbers and they're seeing where they're getting their central or coordinated entry referrals from.
And I can agree with that. They do submit reimbursements now for Hawley Street and Southside Manor. So it does include 2 shelters.
Is it possible to get somebody from the COC to give us their notes on why they recommended, if nothing else, you know, it's too late to get them in here, but at least if we could get the notes and you could send them out, soft copy, we can look at it, and then we can make our decisions once we have that information. Because right now, we're really kind of in the dark.
We won't have the ability to look at this like this at the next meeting.
I understand that, and we may have to, you know, we may have to go into another, as much as I hate it too, but we need to do this right. Because we don't have the information that we need to make, unless we do an across-the-board cut.
Which is what I'm
Could
sitting
I
here doing.
recommend maybe a special meeting prior to the 29th? I can do prior to the 29th. I
We
just
can do
can't
that.
do the
I can
29th.
call a meeting anytime.
I
The
would just
question is,
have
do
to
we
see
want
what's
one?
available on the city calendar.
Yeah. do we want to recommend Shannon to look on for an open date between now and then?
I think it depends on how much we want to look at this and how much detail we want to go into. If we wanted to really look at this, we need to have another meeting based on, you know, the COC recommendation information that we could get. Or we can do the across-the-board cut, but I don't know if that's fair.
For me, I believe that it would be sufficient for me to receive a 6-paragraph email explaining exactly what they
Yeah.
did.
But we would still have to talk about it, you know.
Sure, might be, yeah, we might be able to tack that on to the last meeting.
I think so. How's that sound to everyone?
So to confirm, if I can get a special meeting prior to the 29th, you guys are on board with that? And also see if COC, somebody can come in that meeting or provide something prior to that meeting?
Well, if we want to
No.
do what John says, might be a short discussion. We might be able to make the public hearing a half hour later and take care of that before the public hearing starts. That might be an option. Then we
You
don't
just
have to
wouldn't
have
be able
another
to
meeting.
mess with numbers or anything that,
I'm sorry?
you just wouldn't be able to play with any numbers or anything that meeting, because I won't be able to attend and nobody else has this, so.
No, if we have what he's suggesting, the 6 paragraphs from COC, and we meet before the public hearing starts, we can discuss and say we accept, and we're going to do an across-the-board cut, or we're going to do something else, and then we can have the public hearing, and then we don't have, unless we have more issues. If more issues come up, we may have to have another meeting, but if it's this one short discussion, we might be able to do it either before or after.
Okay, so just playing devil's advocate here for just one moment. I went through and calculated out the difference. It is basically 17.84 or something percent difference between the things. When you do an across-the-board cut, you come in at 149,917, which is just under the 150 whatever. And that would give us the top number, 20,500, 14,760, 64,133, and 50,024, just so we have numbers in there based on what it is from their recommendations. And then when we hear from their recommendations, if we agree with the ideology behind their recommendations, then we have the numbers that put in based on the actual ESG budget number, not what they assumed. Does that make sense? And that's what we've done in the past 2 years when we cut everything down by the equal amount percentage-wise.
Okay, so what numbers am I putting in?
The top number, 20,500, right? That's the next number is 14,766. Then 64,133, and there's some change, but I don't know if we want to do change or not. And then 50,024.
This is, you're keeping both of these at 0?
Yeah, do their recommendations.
And then this one was,
50,024.
whoops. That gives you $577.
That's pretty close, right? Consider I'm doing it in the dark with,
There's 4 of them, so that would give you about $125, $130 maybe to play with.
I mean, we
for
could
each.
always roll some of those up or down a little bit, but. Didn't he usually tell us not to spend right up to the dollar amount?
You can
Right,
add
yeah.
$144.25 to each one of them if you'd like, and that would use the 577.
But in the past, Steve told us not to spend up to the top dollar amount, but. Okay. If you want to, then divvy that up. I mean, I had change and decimal points and stuff. I just rounded.
All right, so 144.25 would be 20,000.
Before we do that, what is the maximum $90,000 notation there?
I don't know what that meant. I really don't.
There's a section, and I kept us under that. It comes in at 98,000 something. 98.9 something.
Maximum is 90,000, but
I thought it said
right next to that is
99,999.
99,399.
Oh, crap. Sorry.
I literally copied his template and just plugged in the numbers and the agencies.
I thought that said 99. My bad.
And there,
If-
and up there too, it says I'm having trouble reading it, something max $90,000.
This right here says 99,399.
No, but when I was reading this here in the dark over here, I thought it said 99. So I kept it at. Okay, sorry. I gotta
But if
redo
we
my
just,
math.
if we split the $9,399, oh no, I lied. If we just take the 9,000, yeah. We just have to take
$9,400. Just put it down into the next set.
Yeah. And if you take $3,133 from each one of the Showers from Hope, Men's Shelter, and Emergency Program, you would take equal amount of that 9,000 from all three, but it wouldn't be the same percentage taken from each. Does that make sense? If we're
But
over by 9,000?
unfortunately, due to the cap, it can't be the same percentage. I just,
Yeah,
my math was on a cap of 99,000 because that's what I thought this number was looking at it without my glasses pulled down.
So are we comfortable with just pulling, instead of going back and doing the math over for the top three that are being funded, if we just take $9,399, if you divide that by three, that's $3,133. If we take that amount from each of the three that are funded, it'll get us at 90,000 even, and then we just move that down. It made sense in my head, but I feel like I said a lot.
So does the 20,014 and 64, does that
I mean, it puts us almost in line with last year's numbers.
84, 99, so that totals to 99,
Yeah.
which is less than the maximum of 90, because I looked it up, and the HP and the RR max is homeless prevention and rapid rehousing. You can't go over 90,000 for that, so that's why the street outreach is also in play, would be my guess.
Is that why Caring Homes is separated?
I would guess, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And I remember this now. When Rebecca was here for one of the meetings as our city council representative, she was like, it looks like they're only funding salaries. So that's where we get the top three at salaries. And that's how they've divvied that up.
Yes, so the 20,500 would be okay, that wouldn't be included. So now it's the men's shelter, the emergency housing program, and the caring homes.
Mhm. 18,245. $13,136.
Hang on. $18,245.
13,136. 5778. 078. And that brings us under, right?
Are you keeping this at 50,024?
No, we're gonna throw the 9,400 into that.
So 59,424?
Yeah. And it's gonna make our gap grow, but we can choose whatever. If we scroll up, it's 2,000 now. Last year you said it was 7?
The 7 is already set aside from the 150.
Oh.
The
Well,
total
then just-
allocation was 157,000.
Then throw. I don't care.
We could
But that
bring
does keep
caring
you under
homes to closer to the COC recommendation.
Yeah, we can give them recommendation, and then whatever the change is, put it in the top one.
If we change caring homes to 61,541, that brings us to exactly 150,000. But we don't want to go that close?
Let's put the recommendation in at 61,005.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yep, it's less.
There's the 536 again.
Leave it.
Who up there do we like? Just toss the 500 in. 536 up wherever.
Well, if you put it here, that gives them a little bit closer to
Sure.
the 18,000. Can somebody do 136 plus 536? Be like 772? 672.
672, yeah. There we go.
Bum, 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 bum.
Okay. So there until we find out our little reasoning.
Do we want to move on
Yes.
to services or capital?
The easy one just took us 42 minutes.
So here you have 180,000 remaining to mess with after Parks gets 200,000, Streets gets 300,000, and Demolitions get 300,000.
Right off the bat.
And I think
I
you
don't
guys had
wanna fund an
178
elevator.
last year to mess with, so it's 2,000 more.
Okay, so we were talking about,
Oh, sorry. One more thing, Michelle. I put these notes on the side. These guys have already received other funding. That was the elevator for Fenn. This is Broome County Council of Churches Ramp It Up program. They still have all of this year's money to spend. They're having a hard time finding City of Binghamton residents only, because that's what the grant can cover, is only Binghamton residents. They are getting the word out and do have a couple applicants, but nothing is permanent yet. But still, only a couple applicants is not going to spend $25,000. This is First Toward Action Council. They still have all of 51 and most of 50 still to use. So
Oh,
keep that in mind when you're
they
doing
have
this as
2
well.
years of funding.
Yes.
well, I
I
think
love
it
them
should
as a
go to
program, but
zero
if they're not
right
going to
off the
spend their
bat.
money, let's put it elsewhere.
I did put a 0 there just because they do have other funding. It looks like I did put a 0 there, but I probably didn't mean to because it's totally up to you guys.
Shannon, do you know the last invoice that First Ward Action Council gave to you? What was it? What time frame it covered?
I could actually get that really quickly for you if I ran
Yeah,
upstairs.
I think that would be important.
If you guys want to talk, I can go get that. But I
Okay.
want to say it was January-ish.
But what services, what time frame were the
I
services
want to say
performed?
It was out of 50, so it had to have been for a time frame in
Out of
2024.
50?
They were billing for 2024.
Correct. Would you like me to go get the folder?
I think it's kind of important because, like Justin says, it's a great program, and I know they've had some logistical problems, but still, that's an awful lot of unfunded
That's a
stuff.
lot of money to be sitting on for them.
Yeah. Folder. I'm uncomfortable with them sitting on that amount.
What? Repeat that.
I'm uncomfortable with them sitting on that amount.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other thing that I would like to point out is that I had a conversation with Jerry Willard, who was concerned because the new lead requirements have prohibited them from doing a lot of things because they have to do a lead assessment if they even have faucets for seniors, to put a kitchen faucet in. So I don't know if there are, because I know that they're a willing group to do what they can, and I just like to make sure that we rule out all of the exigent circumstances that may have prohibited them from doing what they want. Just to be fair, and I'm not saying that we should fund them for this year, but we should know what's going on with them. Because $85,000 is a nice place for them to sit.
I think Shannon said last meeting that they were given some kind of guidance on what
There
they
was
can and cannot
there was
do.
some mitigation done, but
Yeah.
but the problem that I'm thinking is that maybe if that was the thinking, then they weren't scheduling anything because they thought that these things would be cost prohibitive.
Right, but even when they are on their go, like when they were doing it, it took almost their full fiscal year to get all the stuff in anyway.
Oh, no,
So I'm not even sure they have the personnel to spend down 2 years in a year.
I agree with you. I just like to know what's going on with that agency and if there are
Oh, yeah.
anything, that, and I think that this is what we do, and we get into the kind of details and the weeds that a lot of people don't, so.
Yeah.
I
And they
think
do
we're
a
in
lot of great
agreement.
work. We just need to get them working again.
So while Shannon's getting that, if we can shift gears just a minute and talk about some of these other ones.
Yep.
That's a lot of roofs. It's a lot of roofs, and I don't know that there's any fair way to give everyone a roof.
I don't think there is.
I have a lot of respect for all of these programs. A lot of names we've seen again and again, and it's a little uneasy for me because it kind of feels like we're just bailouts year after year. One thing that I heard this year was the mayor's presentation about using a fund of money from the capital pot here to fund studies that will springboard us into other grants. That resonated with me because if we can multiply that money and be in a position to more quickly get big money, I see that as a better investment that's going to affect many more city residents, many more of the residents that we're tasked to look out for, and that this money is supposed to affect, than a couple of roofs, a couple of partial roofs, because we can't even fund complete roofs.
I think the other thing that's important to remember is that the capital projects per se, those kinds of individual capital projects, have only been introduced in the last few years in our deliberations, and I think that what happened is it kind of skyrocketed. I don't think it was intended to be this much, and it does make a difference, so I think we have to really consider when we talk about capital projects.
I agree. The one that, roofs aside, heating and air conditioning aside, the one that does resonate with me is the parking lot for the church. Where is it there? Yeah, because I think it's a modest ask. It's what, $30,000 or something, and that's also where
That's
North of
Noma's
Main.
parking lot.
North of Main Community Center is. Our services fund didn't go as far as we would like this year,
Where is that?
but I see that as a way of helping them too.
Well, that's a capital project that actually does benefit the community.
Right,
It's,
right.
it's more broad.
And it tackles blight. It's in an area that I, could use some love.
Yeah.
I like that parking lot.
Anybody
project.
that has those
Where
kind of
is that?
daffodils
I
in
don't
front,
see
they
that.
can't be all bad.
I don't see the parking lot.
I don't see it up here either, but I saw it in the,
Wasn't it
Yeah,
on the
we did.
ESG as a capital?
Why we're
should have
thinking
been under
about
First Congressional Church. Capital improvement. I'm sorry, Deb, I didn't hear you.
The paper that I'm looking at, I don't see that listed.
Me neither.
Do you see it in your binders?
What really irritates me today is that we don't know the street projects and the park projects as deep and as info as we've had in the past, because that department didn't show up. It irritates me because we're throwing in generic numbers based on previous year's budgets.
Especially since HUD required us, remember they changed their things and required us to look at each street project individually. So I think that as a CDAC, we have to start throwing our weight around a bit and saying to the mayor's office, to planning, to the people that can compel these people to come in. We've given them the one-page sheet. We've tried to make it as easy as possible for them, and they still don't come.
Right.
Next year, we have a lot of things that we need to tighten up.
Are we sure? I thought the roof replacement at Roberson was way more than $30,000.
Roberson just had a fundraiser that raised $12 million. So
I understand that, but I feel like it merged. Like the 30,000 that we're looking for is under Roberson, because I feel like their ask was more than 30 grand.
It looks like, according to their application, their ask was $50,000.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Can I just, I have a comment to make about on this page, line 10, the ACBC relocation and expansion to 15 Charles Street. So that's the same organization under ESG that we could not fund because of the syringe exchange program. So does that apply?
Well, ACBC on Charles Street, they have said, and I hope that they're telling us the truth, that it will be mostly office space. They plan to move their personnel over there because they tried to get a combination of office spaces and a warming center, and the community rejected the warming center because it wasn't going to be run well and it wasn't enough to really meet the needs of the population. They were advised to go somewhere else. So we can assume that what they're asking for is the office facility.
Right, I understand that, but I'm just wondering, are they confined? Because within that building, they'll be doing the needle program. And is that a violation of HUD money?
To fund
It's
the
a-
program, but not necessarily to fund the agency, wouldn't
I
you
think it's a violation of ESG funds. I don't know if it's a violation of capital project funds. Yeah, this is building operations, has nothing to do with needle exchange.
Right.
Whereas the program we were going to be funding under ESG, part of that program is needle exchange.
Right.
So if you're funding that program, you're funding needle exchange. Whereas here, if you're funding a movement of a building renovation, it's not money going to needle exchange.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we don't get.
And not that I'm supporting giving them $106,000 or whatever, but I'm just saying this is capital money. That is emergency funds.
But that's another thing we should write down as clarification that we need.
Yep,
We need clarification
agree.
on that.
Put a big old asterisk next to that.
Shannon, did you get that? Thank you.
Deborah.
In the past, I don't remember funding a relocation of an agency. Just
I don't either.
never did.
We've funded expansion of buildings, we've funded renovation work, we've expansion, blah, 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 but never the movement of a program. Like, I don't know if we're paying for their moving their stuff or if we're paying for the new space. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a point of clarification as well.
Office furniture is part of the listing, right? But is that for expansion or is that for all of it? Like, are we funding a new look or are we funding more jobs, more opportunity?
I think this one is just for parking lot. I don't think that they are proposing that we fund any sort of relocation. This is just for paving 2 parking lots.
At 15 Charles?
Yes.
Okay.
Between Charles and Jarvis, 2 of them.
Okay.
It's the Up Comfort program, I think, that we're thinking of for furniture. So I think this is different. This is not necessarily relocation, just parking lot. Correct.
So should we change the project then on that to parking lot?
Yeah, but if you go beyond the program and project title, and the narrative just talks about parking lot, is what I'm seeing, unless you seeing something that I'm not.
Demos, parks, and streets set aside.
I know the parking lot came up at the Clinton Street revitalization project as well, so I do know that they were concerned about the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
On line 11, the First Congregational Church parking lot, that's the NOMA program.
I would like to see us put $30,000 in that First Congressional Church
I thought we already did that.
line 11. Shannon, can we on line 11? Can we put $30,000 in there?
Ta-da! How come the 800,000 from the City of Binghamton stuff is not thrown in? It's not going into that. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Just
now
a
the
thought,
question-
folks.
Go ahead.
Pardon me, Jess, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
The roof and paving projects cover our agencies almost in a top to bottom, because if your roof is leaking, that's going to create other damage, and it may affect services. The parking lot, from what I understood, I have not traveled by to see it. It was a trip and fall hazard. And they do service a lot of people there. And then looking back at the numbers of the cross socioeconomic that Roberson does versus, for example, like a Phelps Mansion, if we were going to have to be cutting hairs because they were with us before. But our funding of Post 80 was crucial because of the programming they do, the outreach that they do, and our commitment to veterans.
Yeah. Are you done or no? Okay. In addition to Post 80, they now do meals weekly there. And they're only able to do that now because we funded the roof. They started using rooms they hadn't used because we did their roofs before. Like they have that huge hall, but they don't set that hall up every day for lunch or breakfast or dinner. And they do this Sunday dinner thing. And they do it because they now have another room in the building that had been all full of leaks and the ceiling had been bad. Once we got the outer ceiling fixed, they got volunteers to come in and fix the interior ceiling, and now they have their dinners in there. And it's just one of those things where we seeded part of it, and it is bringing community groups in there. It's bringing Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, homeless groups, veterans groups. They have kids dances in there now. Like there's all kinds of stuff that's going on. Their bowling alley, they got donations to fix their bowling alley because somebody came in for another event, and now they're able to raise more money for the American Legion by letting people bowl there. And it's all because we seeded part of the roof. And I would hate to just leave them completely in the cold if we can fix another part of the roof to just keep it going.
And I do want to say that they were so easy to work with, and they spent that money so fast.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to kind of elaborate on. I did look up if I was going to like book an event versus the Phelps Mansion versus the American Legion. Phelps Mansion was starting off at $600 for like, I think it was like a 2 or 3 hour event, versus the American Legion will let you book it for like 4 hours for $250. And if you know enough people, we'll waive it. We'll give you a 50% off discount. I know they do a lot of free things at the American Legion. Yeah, if there's a member, you could get it for free at the American Legion. I also know people that are now using the commercial kitchen that they have there as like a ghost kitchen to get their small business up and running. So like you said, it just created a domino effect.
That does sound like a good investment.
I once again I would rather back the Legion versus the other two museums that we have on there.
So can we possibly say that we have to look at whether or not we're going to fund the senior center, the senior program, repair program? And if not, if we take Deb's point, we put the rest of the money into maybe AVRE and the Legion, which are not parking lots, if I understand correctly. AVRE is.
If I remember correctly, AVRE said that they had different numbers for different HVAC units.
Right.
Because I believe that number was for all 5
Right,
HVAC
and they were
units.
willing to work with
And
us
I
on
think-
that. Yeah.
I think they said they can make something work
Yeah.
with just a portion.
So can we do that? Can we?
Well, if we do fund little bits of each of these, we're not going to have the money for the mayor's fund. But we also don't have that money to begin with, because what he was talking about setting 250 aside, we didn't even start with that because we're already putting 800,000 aside for the city.
I think that's something for 53 that we look at. If he wants to do something, then he has to give us a serious proposal. But the thing is,
and we need to know specifics from the city departments on what they want us to fund.
yeah, well, if we work with the numbers we have now, we decide to put whatever we can in those 2 other programs rather than. But I still think we need a list from the other departments in the city.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When we funded the Legion for their roof, how much of that did we fund?
The balance, according to John kindly showed me his documents, the Legion needs a total of $102,000 to finish their roof project, which is, right, that's a huge improvement. And then the AVRE air conditioning units, they need a total of 5 HVAC units. So very simple math, that's like $55,000 would do 1 unit, and that would use the rest of our money. But it's 1 is not 5, but it's better than nothing.
What I like about AVRE is they are serving Broome and surrounding counties, I think for a total of 8. Obviously, they're right in the Center City, and we're rather meager in our distributions of agencies and services for those with disabilities. So for me, that would be another plus in their category. ABRA.
Well, Justin's struggling. I'm going to add. I think we're
Sorry.
missing. Are we missing Discovery Center?
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Wait, we can't fund the Discovery Center. No, because the Discovery Center is considered a regional destination.
We gave them $40,000 last year for the pirate ship. It's awesome. I play on it.
I can't remember. There's something about whatever it is with the current.
That was for the
request.
basketball courts, I think. So.
Right, but it was in the park. It was. It had something to do with the zoo, the placement of where it was. Like when we did the ship, it was in one thing, but when it's part of something else, it's part of considered a regional destination.
I think because it's like the oldest zoo in
Is
the
it the
world.
zoo? I can't
the world,
remember
but-
what it is, but it's proximity.
And I think that's the location.
In last year's records, they gave us a handout in the brochure, and that was for the pirate ship playground.
Yeah. That was last year.
Correct.
Yeah. No, the pirate ship. I thought it was when they came
was-
here this year.
No, that
Everybody
that
is a little
predates
bit
me here.
correct.
What?
The project where
Right, but it's the building itself. The Discovery Center is considered a regional destination. I thought it was why we couldn't help the building itself. The Discovery Center. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like we had this discussion. Oh shoot, is it the zoo? I thought it was the Discovery Center.
Now, for the pirate program, it was a budget of $104,409, and the ask from CDBG was $40,566.
And what did we give them?
I think we fully funded that. I think we gave them 40.
I had mine on yesterday and today. It sounded awful outside. I was like, there's definitely twigs down in.
But I think the thing that we have to look at is the fact that we can only do so much. And if you
Right.
want to look at the Discovery Center, it has much more opportunity for private fundraising than maybe AVRE or the other
That's-
program does. So let's just leave it that way. And, you know, not everybody gets money from us.
We do $100,000 for the American Legion, and I haven't heard any of the presentations. I'm just doing math in my head. That funds about 90% of their total cost of finishing the roof replacement. Then we give the remaining 50 to AVRE, and it's as much as they can do, but they said they have 5 units, so we're ideally funding 1.
For a new member, you're doing real good.
I know. It's that smartphone and the pen. She's got it. She's choo, 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 choo. Mine's in on my head and they're not working. We did assist AVRE, and the impact, I drive by the AVRE to work home for lunch, let the dog out, back and forth, and to see them using that front space at AVRE now, because there's not bricks falling off the side of the building from what we funded last year, and to have people out there and know that they're out there because we fixed that building for them is a big improvement.
So if we're happy with that, can we move on?
$100,000 for American Legion, $50,000 for AVRE, $30,000 for First Congregational Church parking lot. Woohoo! You guys completed capital tonight.
Can we put zeros in the other ones, or do we not need to put zeros in? It just looks incomplete.
Is that all of them, John? Are you sure?
You guys, I am
It
so
is
sorry,
now.
really. I thought I had this binder in my lap, and I'm making sure I did not miss anybody. But, again,
All right.
sorry. Sorry.
Are we comfortable with these numbers? Deborah?
Could we just say that one more time?
Our,
50,000 for, you said, say it one more time?
Yes, please.
50,000 for AVRE, 100,000 for American Legion, 30,000 for First Congregational Church. While I'm talking about that, I don't know if any of y'all heard, I got an email the other day that said Bryce Reynolds is no longer employed with NOMA, and can't think of her name, is now the executive director. Brandy.
Brandy?
Brandy is now the executive director, and Bryce Reynolds is no longer employed by NOMA. I don't know why. I don't know if he chose to leave on his own terms, but just so that you all are aware.
Remember, the major funding was his pay.
Motion to get the dirt.
Do I need to text her? Can you hear me?
All right, on
All right,
to
here we go.
CDBG services. This is what you have chosen to fund as of last meeting. Any changes?
How far
any
are
discussion?
we off our?
I will try to minimize it just a little bit so that maybe all the numbers come together. Yes. That's what you've chosen to fund. There are 3 at the bottom. Achieve and Fairview that you can't really see that you have chose not to fund at the bottom. But these are everything that you chose that you can see.
I'm pretty happy with our numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the mayor will be, but I think he needs to understand
mayor's
how
gonna
we
hate
came,
it.
how we came to this. Yeah.
So we're going to take, if we agree on this and we vote on basically what we've talked about the entirety of the last meeting, and we hear the public comments on the 30th, we're going to just take what they say and go forward. I mean, I think the public is going to align more with what we have, and our goal as the CDAC is to represent that public to the city council and to the mayor's office, and give them recommendations from the people. So they may disagree and go a different way, but this is what we
But if all of us talk to the council people who appointed us and we make our decisions known why we did what we did, I think that will help a lot too.
John.
Oh, actually, I lied. You guys still have $5,955.60 to mess with because that was the difference in funding this year.
You know what doesn't sit right with me is achieve. I don't.
John, I second that.
It doesn't sit right with me. You know, they're asking for low amount, certainly below the threshold, but I'd like that. And I know Southern Door, just by my own data, is really expensive per participant.
Where do we have that?
At the bottom, almost 24.
So that's the other part that doesn't exactly. I'm just not sure about that. Everything else, I think that I feel pretty good about.
Let's
Can we
take
give that-
10, or let's take 5 from that and add it to the 5 that's up there, and give the 10,000 back to Achieve that we gave them last year.
I thought last meeting you had said that, wasn't there an agency you didn't want to fund because they brought in so much money each year or something like that? So to only give them 10,000, they could.
I think that was
Me
a
too.
Yeah.
Their budget was so high, and for them to only ask for 10,000.
You're right. You're right.
Okay,
I
never
take
mind.
that back. They have $37 million. Yeah.
I would
My
love
heart's
to
with the program, but the math isn't there for me. You're
I'd love
you're
to
right.
put the $5,000 new into Vines.
Yeah. That was
I think Deb has a program or a question or comment.
Deb.
She might be disagreeing with me.
Yeah. I know I'm opening a can of worms, so just let me say it. We are woefully behind in any services for people with disabilities. This bathroom is not accessible. John, I gave you the tour.
Do we have?
The sanitation program, the hygiene program is very noble, and it is very much in vogue. I'm seeing a lot of organizations collecting for that. Senator Webb is doing a marvelous job within her district of getting the word out for that, and I'm just seeing more of that. So I was like really biting my tongue. Do I come in? And we had a pretty good sense of where we were last time, and I just have to advocate for that, quite frankly. So that's just a thought.
Which one is it?
Which
For
one, Deb?
Achieve.
Oh, for Achieve.
So maybe we give Achieve $5,000, which is acknowledging that we think it's an important program and we value it, instead of putting that extra $5,000 into Vines, which is still 50%, funds 50% of what they asked. It's not like we're
And
doing
again,
nothing.
Vines is another organization that has huge fundraising capabilities that I think Achieve may not have. It's a much more
Didn't we just
politically
say their
correct
budget's
program, if you will.
37 million? Achieve's budget's 37 million.
That's true, but what I'm saying is, no, my point is that from a funding point of view, Vines does rather well with their own funding. So is there someone else that I'm particularly sad that we're not giving Makerspace anything, because Makerspace is an awesome program that reaches most of the kids in our community.
But again, we're not doing that because they haven't spent any of their current fiscal year and didn't finish their 50.
Oh, is all I can say. Is there another program? Is there another program that we can look at that, maybe we're not considering? That is somehow eligible for our consideration.
I just think I like helping summer programs. I mean, we can take that 5 from Vines and put it down and Achieve. That wouldn't bother me too much. I mean, Vines has a lot. We're giving them less than half their ask, but they put young people to work in our city. They help people who are in food deserts or underserved. I mean, there's a lot of. I had made a motion to put that into, yeah. So yes,
I have a
So-
question. Why do we not have anything funded for the YMCA emergency housing program?
because they haven't spent. Isn't that another one where they haven't spent any of their money because they haven't raised the rest of the money for their roof?
They have not billed for their roof yet, but they did just send me an invoice actually today, spending their money for the Code Blue. This was for the Code Blue stuff. The emergency housing program, I should have put /Code Blue.
So they have spent
They
the
just
money.
spent today. They sent me an invoice, yes. They
What-
spent all of their money. Well, actually, I lied. They sent it yesterday, but I did not receive it in my email today because I was not here yesterday.
Well, I think we should. I mean, that goes with our mission that we our goals that we came up with to address, the problem with homeless, and that we wanted to focus on that. So if that's for Code Blue,
I thought Code Blue was emergency. I thought that would be ESG funding.
No, because it's for supplies. It's for hygiene supplies. So it doesn't fall under ESG.
Code Blue's not cold weather housing, emergency
No, it's
housing.
just for the supplies.
like
It's
blankets
not for the
and
housing, it's only for their hygiene products.
Oh God.
Do we have a duplication of services between the two agencies?
Which ones, Deborah?
Salvation Army and,
The YMCA Code Blue,
yeah,
probably.
Well, we didn't fund the YMCA at all, did we?
No, not yet.
This is my recommendation, that we stick with what we have. I'm going to throw it out there that we do give that 5,000 to Vines. One, because I feel like the mayor had recommended that as one he was interested in funding. I think we gave them less than half of what they asked for. They do youth development, food security, workforce development. They're in Center City and they built a new space down there. I'm thinking about the young girl that presented from Vines and just the impact of her story and what that looks like investing in the community. And I think I'm inclined to do a youth program that is 100% City of Binghamton. My only hesitation, well, one of my big hesitations with Achieve is how big their budget is. Even though they could probably make it so that that fee goes to City of Binghamton students, I know that they also serve a bigger county. I think Vines is a homegrown Binghamton program, City of Binghamton program, exclusively for their youth summer employment program. And it's the only other program similar to it is like BOCES TANF, and this broadens it up. So I would advocate for that 5,000 to go there, or that's all I got.
And Michelle, the YMCA, they did not request funding this year.
That's why
That's
we
blank.
don't have them there.
And the Cdac project did not request funding this year. So this line is the agency request, and this is what they got last year. In case you guys couldn't see that up there, I had it blocked.
Regarding the $5,000 that Asia was just talking about, is there something that we can talk about with the NOMA Center? I know that the NOMA people, it's mostly Binghamton people, and they are severely, they don't go after funding like they should, which is true. But if we gave them the $5,000, it's a little closer to what they asked for rather than giving it to Vines. I throw that out as a thought.
We didn't give it to Vines. We did
No,
initially.
she said instead of giving the
Instead of.
5,000 to Vines,
I'm
give
just
it to
saying-
NOMA.
Counterpoint here.
Right. But that is insinuating that the 5,000 actually went into Vines. Right now, that 5,000 is sitting in Achieve. We already pulled the 5,000 that I had suggested putting into Vines out of it and set it into Achieve. But can we scroll back up for just a second? I want to use some of the 95560 to make the Attain Technology Center their actual lease amount of $8,760, please.
I was gonna bring that up.
I mean, that has been a staple. We just pay their lease or rent or whatever it is. And that, I mean, are we comfortable with these numbers, or do we want to shuffle the 5? I mean,
If we don't allocate the 5 tonight, if we take it out of Achieve and we just leave it, well, it won't be quite 5, whatever it is left, can we then allocate that later, or does it just sit and wait for next year?
no, it's got to be allocated when we approve our budget.
Deb has her hand. Oh.
Deb.
Quick question, just to make this bigger. Shannon, can you take away, I believe it's cells C over, and bring us back so we just have from our numbers?
Like,
Take away, move right. Yeah, take those out.
I think they'll just keep coming because they're blank.
It's just for visual for the numbers.
But then we'll have less of them visible on the thing, wouldn't we?
I mean, I can zoom in, but
Now we just
now
have to
you're gonna be
scroll
able
up
to
and
see
down.
less.
But it's big and we can read it.
So if you need me to scroll up or down, just let me know.
I know.
Southern Door, it does cost $5,500 per participant. So they would be able to do almost 4 participants in their program with the $20,000 that we're, like,
The question is that a big enough impact of our money?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. And in a way, there's duplicative services within their program, unfortunately, if you really look at it very clinically.
I didn't hear what Jessula said. That was for a class, right? That's for their ambassador program? Yeah. Let me review.
No.
With that logic, if we're going with the logic of not doing small amounts, sorry,
Well, the mayor
Chief.
didn't want us to do anything under 25,000. But we're pushing back because there are programs, there are things that are worth saving that aren't asking for $25,000, but make a big impact and make do. I make our park rangers, for gosh sakes, they're only $10,000, and it puts teens in our city to work in the summer at the parks. Agreed.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's why we're here.
It's actually a better allocation of the funding when you really, yeah, as much as this is a critical issue, the other, if we can put this money into other things that are reaching more people, this is how we sell it to council and to the mayor's office. Look, it's this limited amount of outreach compared to this other outreach. So can we pick a couple of programs that we really believe in and give them more money?
We could, if we do take away that 20,000, and I think if we take away that 20,000, we should also take the 5,000 from Achieve.
Yep.
And then we'd have 25,000 we could give CARES their entire ask, which is $25,935. We could give
NOMA 20.
NOMA 20 more thousand?
No, make it 20.
Oh, make it 20, sorry.
But here's
we could make the after school.
Sorry. I was just breaking. She was like talking in five, so I'm like 20, 15,
But
20.
Can I make a point about the CARES backpack program? As much as I support what CARES does, they used to ask for what, $10,000 or $15,000, and they've been asking for that every year. How many backpacks can you give away? And $25,000 worth of backpacks? I mean, are we being realistic here?
I don't think it's, yeah, they send home.
Yeah, there's all kinds of other stuff. I understand that, but that $25,000 is a lot of money when you're not giving agencies that work with several hundred clients sometimes the same amount of money. I mean, we have to be equitable in how we distribute what we're giving to people and how the impact of that. And I'm on the school board. It's not that I don't understand what they're trying to do, but $25,000 is an awful lot of money for that.
I will say, as a teacher, it's a difference of kids eating. Like when we're on break or we're home from
All
school.
I'm saying is
And
that
I can tell you that they did just get funded for $10,000, and they were still able to run the backpack program. So
yeah. All I'm saying is that we look at other programs rather than putting that money, extra money, into the backpack program. I'm not saying taking anything away, but let's look at other programs that could use that money for maybe greater outreach in more serious issues, to be very honest.
I really don't get a say, but I do know that the last meeting I did kind of advocate pretty high for the intensive care navigator. That is a huge issue in our community with the drug use and whatnot, and the intensive care navigator, I think, is a need.
I didn't hear a word you just said.
He didn't hear you, Shannon. It was hard to hear everything you said.
The intensive care navigator, I also think, even though I really don't get a say, I can just tell you from experience that they are a really great program. They do help a lot of people. There isn't a lot in this area anymore for drug addicted, and mental health places. And that person that does that is a huge asset to Fairview, I believe, and to the addicts that need that assistance.
Deb has a point.
Deb.
When I was listening to a city council subcommittee, I want to say municipal affairs, they've just signed a contract, which we initially started here, where the mental health coordinator would go out with the police. And from what I'm understanding, it's a county-funded program for the next 5 years. And they go on site, they can, help with some basic needs, some clothing, and connect them. So I'm wondering, will this new program, or should I say the expanded, more intensive program through MHAST, will that replace or reduce Fairview's? Just a question.
I don't think so, only because they work specifically with the people at Fairview, with their clients who are in-house or, recover and move on to their own apartment. So I don't know if MHAST is gonna, if that's the same, if they're gonna deal with the
I
same
think they're
people.
more parallel programs, and from what I understand from my connections with the police department, is that they will be riding along with the officers, so it will be a catch-as-catch-can almost kind of thing. It won't be a dedicated thing, more like what Fairview is doing with specific clients. So I think it's a parallel program that is very, very needed in this community with what we're facing.
Thank you for the clarification, because we're always concerned about duplication of services.
Yeah, and the police are, in fact, at our neighborhood watch meeting yesterday, both the CRT officer and Captain Flanders indicated that what they're going to get is not going to be enough for what they really need to have. So anything we can do in that area is probably going to be a good thing.
Fairview.
Or wings, or chicken.
I don't even see anybody. Who are you guys talking to?
He's ready to go. We're good. We're good.
Yes.
We're good.
Just tell the police if they hear some screaming and hollering to check on us, that's all. The police are there.
No, we're good. Thank you very much. Well,
So anyway, Deb, I
It is
think
pouring.
I think Fairview works specifically with their clients, and they take them to appointments, set them up with DSS, help them with apartments and stuff after they've, completed the program. So I don't
You
think it's
spoke
the
very
same as MHAST.
Very highly of them, and you detailed, like you are this evening, the different tasks. So thank you.
So I don't know if you guys wanted to. Again, I don't get a say. But I know you were talking about taking the 20 from Southern Door and the 5 from Achieve. That would give the intensive care navigator 25, which is about half of what they're asking. But again, that is all up to you all.
I would be in support of that, I think. I mean, certainly not ideal, because I want everything funded, but
Yeah.
when we're making tough decisions, yes.
Does anyone
So do you want
disagree with
20
that?
to go away from Southern Door and the 5 to go away from Achieve and the 25 to go to Fairview?
She brought brownies. Well, I'm having raspberry, so I'll have a brownie slice with a raspberry.
That still leaves $520.10.
I don't think it's advisable to go right up to the dollar. There was a concern that Steve recommended on that there's just a little bit of wiggle room. Now, are we looking to set aside $20,000? No. But I think there needs to be just a little bit of wiggle room. And if we're at $500 and change, that's not bad.
There is wiggle room. There's wiggle room after you spend the 520.
No, I said for the mental health aspect. The community policing could be quadrupled and it still wouldn't be enough because it's a huge impact on neighborhoods. So, you know, we need to leave that there. Yeah. And it's all voluntary overtime for the officers. So, you know, it's a program that probably should be institutional rather than just optional like that. Because it brings community members closer to their to the policemen, you know, when they're walking in the neighborhoods. And I know, well, I live in a rough neighborhood too, and I know that when you go out and you talk to the policemen and you make it clear that you're kind of on their side, you know, things change a lot, and we need more of that in this community. We need we need to activate and inculcate a sense of community in our community. So it's a program that's very badly needed. It really is.
So are we trying to spend $500 or are we still moving more money around?
Yes, the 52010 needs to be spent.
So if we're going to be trying to spend $500, I'm going to bring to your attention the programs that are have the lowest cost per participant is CARES, the backpack program at $12.97 per participant. Next is NOMA with $19.47 per participant. I feel like if we're going to be trying to stretch that 500 as far as it can go, that perhaps those are the ones that we look at.
So split it into and give it to each of them.
So NOMA is getting 15,000 right now, and CARES is getting 20,000. So where would you like the $520.10 to go?
Give it to Noma.
Yeah. NOMA. Give it to NOMA. No, that's true. That's true. No.
All right, you are at 0. No, that's 100%. It's supposed to be 100. I don't know why it says dollar. It's supposed to be one. I see that now. It's supposed to be 100%.
But But do we have to make a motion if we're not making any real decisions yet? Can't we just make a motion at the end?
Well, if we approve each slide like this, then we agree that the information comes back to us is all right, then we can just have one vote agreeing to the whole thing as a total next time at the end. Does that make sense? Hear me? Oh.
No.
Okay, let me try that again.
No.
Slide by slide.
I know. No.
No, we're going to vote on ESG funding. We're going to vote on capital funding. We're going to vote on services.
I certainly with capital and services, I'm there. ESG, I think I have more questions. If I were to, I'd be very comfortable voting on our math skills with ESG. But some of them I don't know the logic behind it.
We're not doing a final vote.
Okay.
We're doing do we agree with what we have up there right now with the information we currently have?
Why can't we just make a motion on that rather than go, section by section? Because I feel uncomfortable making a motion on a thing we haven't decided on. Like you say, the ESG funding I think we feel solid about. But why can't we just make a motion that we will take this budget that we've just discussed into consideration and approve it and then finalize it at our last meeting?
Because we always vote on each slide first and then vote the whole thing.
Well,
and
we can do
approve it.
that at our last meeting. I mean, it's,
We're not going to be able to look at each slide by slide next meeting.
no.
We are required to have a public session where we hear the public's stake and what they want. They're going to come up and tell us how much they love their programs.
Numbers aren't usually discussed at that.
Yeah,
at that.
numbers are
It's
not.
It's just, hey, you know, let me talk about what this program means to me.
But if it does change our minds, this is why if something changes our minds, we have to go back in and we have to call a special meeting. And preferably, we would like to have that special meeting before the 30th for the ESG information.
If I could get them to provide me with, like John said, say a 6-paragraph thing on each recommendation they made, and then I emailed that to all of you, would you still want a meeting, or would that be sufficient enough for you to look over? And then you guys can make the final vote the
We'd have to have a
29th if I'm
meeting
not here.
if it caused some major concern, right? If it didn't cause major concern, then we could just be like, okay, that answers our questions. But you've got to have something to base that on. Like, if we're happy with our ESG slide, and the answers are basically, okay, our math skills are what worked, when it just disappear.
Yeah.
It glitched, yeah, just keep going.
If we find out from the paragraph that the reason they zeroed out certain things makes more sense now or whatever, and that our math skills, giving it up under the 90,000 and whatever, is the best way forward, then we can just say, okay, we agree on that side, we don't have to have a special meeting. If we don't agree or we don't like what that said, then we have to call a special meeting to come in and work on the ESG slide.
There's another alternative. Supposing we have the public hearing, we announce it, we advertise it for 6 o'clock, we have the people come in, we close the public hearing, we go back into session afterwards, we wrap up these tiny little things that need to be wrapped up, and then we make our final vote.
That's great, and I love that. But Shannon's not going to be here. Yeah, to go over the numbers. To go over any other additional numbers.
She's not going to be here for the public hearing?
No. That's been the whole thing. That's why I've been, let's try to work on
Well,
these things.
you know, if you want to look at it very clinically, if she's not going to be here and we can't do the right way to do it, then we're going to have another meeting, because I personally feel very uncomfortable making motions on things that were not settled yet. In order to do it right, and we've always done it, we have done it where we've closed the public hearing, and if we have very specific things that we know we need to talk about.
Public hearing and have our vote anyway.
So if we are all working off the same information, as much as I don't want to say this, we don't need Shannon.
Okay, so this is the question. If we're getting the information from them ahead of time,
Right.
I want to know that before we even go to the public session. I want to have the ESG stuff settled, our questions about their recommendations settled prior to the people coming in.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Why can't we do it after?
So that everything is settled, so that once we have our public hearing and we're okay with everything we've got, we just do a one vote, yes, we agree, and we're done.
Well, technically, the public hearing is supposed to influence our vote.
And it can influence our vote. And we can call another meeting.
I think there's potentially
You just gotta yell.
another solution too.
Just
Not
turn it
into
off.
it, just shout.
What if we get that email
John, yes, it does, because I'm the perfect example of that. Currently, city council is not abiding by that. They're having council members Zoom in. Their experts can, but you have to be in person attending with the open government ruling,
Even if there's no vote?
even if there's no vote.
Right, yeah, that was my understanding if there was a vote.
I think it's federal stuff. Is there no one else in the planning department that can take Shannon's place for that meeting? What? Yeah, we can do that. We need to do something like that. I mean,
Will they have access to the projector?
there you go. But we will have probably our own. Well, hopefully, the reason we're having the meeting is because we will have our answers to the questions that we've asked. So, maybe that Thursday if we have to. No, the 2 weeks is because of city council's meetings. That's why we meet every other week.
Every other Wednesday, because city council has the chambers on Wednesdays, the first and third.
Right, I just thought our meetings had to be announced like 2 weeks in advance to let the public know, or is that just the public hearing?
That's just the public hearing.
Never mind, guys, it's been a long day. Our next meeting is the 29th.
So, what are we doing, guys? Our school board meeting is on Monday. It's on the 20th. Honest to God, she schedules her vacation when we're done with this. Jesus, help me. Oh, God.
If we do a quick meeting, I could do it.
How quick is quick? Like we come in at 6:20, we out of here by 7?
Hold on, let me see. It's pre-scheduled. I have 11 people going to the movies.
Oh, for Michael, right? Is that the day for Michael?
We could set any time as long as the room's open.
Who works day jobs? Me. I'm like, let's meet at 10 a.m. Let's do it. I'll bring breakfast.
You, me, and Tuscany's the movie.
Oh, okay.
Nothing is on the agenda for April 21st,
Michael's the
Tuesday.
for Deb. Let's go. 27. What time? 6. If we say 6, we might get started by 6:30.
6 o'clock on the 27th. Your CDAC chair is calling a meeting to order.
And then when they showed up on time,
If we're out by 6:30?
If the answers are all good.
gets back to me before this meeting, I will provide you guys with whatever they provide me. You need to look over in an email.
The meeting's pointless if we don't have the COC. That meeting is pointless if we don't have the COC recommendation.
Right, well, we'll know prior, and then we can always cancel.
Okay.
But just to have that and to get it on calendar.
But I think if you make a strong enough recommendation that they give you those 6 paragraphs, yeah. And if they need, we'll all call them too.
So can I just tell you guys a little story about what happened last year? I think it was last year. So it was back when the COC changed from whatever agency was doing the COC and they switched over to CARES. You guys familiar with that? You guys know what I'm talking about? So this was right after we had the on-site visit with CARES from here, right? I had to call Shannon and I'd be like, Shannon, you gotta listen to this stuff that I got myself wrapped into. So we just had the meeting with CARES about how, you know, they're organizing their backpack giveaway, this, that, whatever. I'm like, cool. Then I have a whole other meeting with a whole other like agency about how CARES is taking over the COC. And I'm like, are you sure? Because like they seem like they were still getting their stuff together, you know, for the backpack drive. It was right, family enrichment. That's what they're like. Yeah, CARES is taking over. And I'm like, CARES ran by Denise. Yes, CARES ran by Denise. So it was a whole like who's on first type of a thing where it was a whole different Denise with a whole different CARES. And I'm just like, wait, what is going on? So like the amount of phone calls I had that day, it was like a 3-hour situation where I'm like, why is CARES taking it over? They're struggling with a backpack drive. Like, what is going on? Should they be controlling the COC? We were so confused. So confused.
How is the backpack program now gonna run?
How are they gonna operate 2.1?
The DFB program.
You're right. What is going on?
Yeah, we were very confused.
So confused. It was a thing.
Asia Ambler, District 1.
Okay. All right.
I do
All right.
So I guess we're not going to vote. We'll do that on the special meeting on the 27th. Let's start out to close things down with our attendance starting over here. Go.
Maggie Gregory, District 2.
John Brunza, mayoral appointee.
Asia Ambler, District 1.
Mary Ann Callahan, mayoral appointee.
Deborah Hogan, mayoral appointee.
Jasula Saintis, District 4.
Jordan Trice, District 5.
Marilyn Austin, District 6.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question really
Wait,
quick?
Okay. Okay, Michelle O'Loughlin, Council at Large.
A couple members work for agencies that are getting funding. They just cannot vote for that agency, correct? Can they vote as a whole? Like if we were to do CDBG services, they can vote as, yes, I agree to these proposals. They just cannot vote on the specific agency, correct?
The reason why we do each slide is so that if somebody has to excuse themselves from a slide or for something that they appear on, they can excuse from that. And then once all the slides are approved by the rest of the folks, they can vote on the overall arching budget.
Okay, because if you have 3 members who are working for 3 different agencies and they can't vote on that specific slide, Are you gonna meet quorum?
They're here. They're just abstaining from that vote. We're still going to have quorum.
So I remember when I was working for Catholic Charities and I had to abstain. I remember I voted on the whole thing and I just abstained from the Catholic Charities line item.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, that you just could not vote on that specific agency? Okay,
You can qualify the vote, yeah, qualify their vote.
okay.
Yeah.
So you can vote on the overall, you just cannot put an input
I thought
on
we couldn't vote on the
actual
slide that
agency.
their agency appeared on.
Either way.
I'll get clarification on that before we vote in the next meeting. Let's complete attendance. I'm Justin McGregor, Chair, 7th District. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Pick one. It don't matter.
Sula, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll see you on the 27th.